What is going on, YouTube? We are back for another recap. This week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, June 24th to the 26th. Tomorrow is my birthday, so I'm not trading the rest of the week. I might trade futures a little bit on Friday, but probably no small caps the rest of the week. So I want to get this week's recap in and done for you guys. We've had 3 small cap trades. We've had around 3 futures trades, and we've had around 4 options trades. We're just going to go over our 3 small cap trades for the day, or for the week. And we're going to go over each 10% winner. That's usually what I like to look for. Runners hit around 15% or so on 2 of them. But I like to get the bulk position out around 10% profit target. But yeah, guys, other than that, let's hop right into it. So for any of you guys who do not know me, I'm Noah B. I've been trading for around 4 years, full-time for around 2.5 years or so, almost 2.5 years. I primarily trade small caps. But I've been transitioning over to futures quite a bit, finding decent success with that, and then really been jumping heavily into options. That's where a bulk of my profits come from, but we still hit pretty hard on small caps, and that's where most of my consistency lies. But yeah, we're just going to jump right into it. So what I like to primarily do, guys, is trade our highest gapper or our highest percent mover in the pre-market, right? That's how most people like to trade. There's a list of, 12 tickers that we can choose from, but we really want to try and stick to whatever has the most gap and whatever has the most volume, right? So this was today's trade. I want to go back to Monday's trades, but we can't see, I can't take this backwards to Monday. But this is what we're kind of looking at for today. And we're looking at OPTX, I'm seeing 183%, but then we're looking at WENA, and I'm seeing 172%, right? And you may ask, well, what determines which one you pick? This specific example, it's based off of volume, right? OPTX has 4.6 million pre-market volume, whereas WENA has 24 million volume, right? And it's not like It's not like WENA is a cheap penny stock that, is showing 17 million volume. They're relatively the same price, about $1 or $2 off from each other, but the volume on WENA is just so much higher, right? So that's what we traded today, and I'll show you another reason why once we get into it. But we're going to start out on Monday's first trade, and Monday's first trade was this AGFY. Right here, guys, AGFY. This is what I sent to all of my premium members in my community. Sent AGFY 59 to 57, price target being 65. It's around a 10% or so move. And, I just walked the team through it a little bit. But we're going to go over here what I saw and why I entered the trade. So, again, AGFY was one of the top leaders on Monday, June 24th. And what I was seeing here when I opened up the charts, I usually open up the small cap charts around 8 a.m. Futures, I'm on around 7 a.m. And options, obviously, I chart in the morning, but we can't trade them until around market open anyways. But I like to get my I like to get my futures pre-market out of the way, make a couple $100 on that, be done. Kind of trade my small caps from around 8 to right to market open around 8:30. Make a couple $100, get that out of the way, and then the rest of the day I'm just focused on my blue chip and tech options, right? That's usually what I like to look for, and just focus on that for the rest of the day. So a lot of times I'm just one and done, guys, and that's what I look for. If I hit a nice trade, I'm one and done. Too many traders out there, they take way too many trades, and if that works for them, great. It's never worked out for me in the past, ever, where I would take way too many trades and just overtrade certain names that just don't need to be traded or aren't even relevant throughout the day. So I like to stick to one, focus on it, hit it, and be done with small caps today. Switch over to my options account. All right, so AGFY. What I'm seeing here, guys, obviously we have a pre-market resistance here at this 59 cents, right? It's very, very clear here at 59 cents, right at pre-market open. We come up and we smack that level. As you guys can see here, we have a beautiful breakout, and we have the beautiful retest right here at this 50 cents. Had I have been trading around this time, this to me is what you call an A+ setup, right? You have a beautiful retest back to pre-market high, Plus, we have our beautiful hammer candle here on the 1 minute time frame, kind of confirming that there are buyers at that level. Seeing a little bit of continuation and a candle closure back above that 50 level, a little sweep below, right? That's everything that I'm looking for a potential entry, right? And then it just targets back up to these highs and these wicks up here, right? So if I was trading that right there is what I call an A+ setup, right? You guys, for anyone who does not know, my primarily number one strategy is a break and retest, right? So I like to look for the breakout and a retest to any key level, confirmation, or a candle closure above that level usually is my signal to enter on the 1 minute time frame. All right, so I missed that trade opportunity, but it is setting up for another leg up to potential breakout, right? Another decent resistance up here. We can look at the float on this specific name, and it is around 10 million float. It's not the smallest, but it's a pretty decent float for a name that we're trading with the amount of volume that we already have into this name, right? So everything's lining up perfectly, and what we're looking for here is a breakout over this supply or over these two wicks right here, right? You guys can see here, we kind of have this resistance here forming, this almost flat top here, resistance here forming at this 55.50, and then we've attempted to push higher and attempt to break out above that 55.50, but all we're doing is just kind of sweeping above and then just closing back below, right? So there's really not one candle closure above this resistance here for us to even be interested in taking the trade. We're just wicking and sweeping above and closing back below. So there's no interest in taking a breakout until ideally we get a candle closure above this 58, or we see a breakout to next resistance, retest, and then look for our entry there. But for this specific example, as we've attempted to break out over this supply or over this resistance here multiple times, I like to play the third or fourth attempt of a level if we can break out and candle closure above, right? So never ever do I play a first breakout, never ever do I play like a double top or a second breakout. I'm only sticking to the third or fourth attempt to the upside for the breakout, right? Because a lot of times these sellers up here are weaker, and a lot of times if we can get enough buyers here to break out over these sellers, that's when you see that pretty impulsive move to the upside, right, and hitting our profit targets. So as you guys can see here, we get a nice impulsive move to the upside and we get a candle closure above that level. That to me is a good potential entry around that 57, 58 level. And honestly, if we can retest back down into 55s or potentially back even down here to this 52, I'm comfortable in adding or comfortable with still holding the trade. As far as profit targets go, everyone asks, okay, where do you find your profit targets? My small cap strategy is a little bit different than futures and options. Obviously, those two, again, they're all break and retest strategies. They're a little bit different how I approach them and what I look for in them. But again, they're all based off of a break and retest strategy. But with small caps, I only focus on the 1 minute and the daily time frame. With options and futures, I use different time frames, but with small caps, I only focus on the daily time frame. And the main reason is because these are all just momentum-based runners that randomly run. You know, they may be in the dump for 2 months and they have a random spike, you know, up 200%, you know, like this AGFY was, right? So the 1 hour time frame is not really going to help us because all the previous data on the 1 hour time frame is just going to show us this basically downtrend here, and these levels aren't even valid because we're all the way up here around like 55, 58. You know what I mean? So ideally, what we're looking for is have to go to the daily time frame to pick out these key levels, right? So you guys can see here why this 50 level was a key resistance here at that pre-market high based off of this bounce here on the daily. And then as far as our profit targets go, I'm looking here at this 65 resistance here, right? Price comes up, rejects, and then price up here attempts to sweep that level, candle closure back below, right? So that 55 level is a key level to me. And then obviously this supply up into here, the 72 to 75. Right, so all of my profit targets and typically majority of my entries are found on the daily time frame. A lot of entries can be found in the pre-market, but I like to kind of confirm them on the daily time frame. And these are the two daily levels that we found, as well as confirmation on the pre-market. So again, candle closure, right? I sent the alert to the team saying AGFY 59 to 57 range, profit target being 65, right? So price just kind of does its thing. We get into our position. We bounce a little bit, but not really anything that I'm interested in. I'm okay with 6%. It's not a bad win, depending on your position sizing. But I like to try to hold for our profit targets, right? So I'm trying to hold for that 12% profit target, if not even higher up to these upper targets, right? So we kind of come back down. We're looking for a retest. Again, I'm comfortable holding this trade until we break below this previous low, right? Until we go break below this low based off of this retest here, then I'm okay with holding the trade. We also have view up there as well. So I'm chilling for now and just waiting for price to, go back up to that 65. We kind of just do our thing, right? We head into market open. We get a nice lower wick here around 8:11, about 20 minutes prior to market open. This to me was where I said, okay, we're about to run. We get this nice lower wick into this range. This is again a plus setup for a retest. Probably could have added more here with that closure back above that zone, right? That's 5% right there, right? But obviously, again, targeting that 12%, right? I thought the third attempt was going to break us out. Obviously, it didn't. We had another fourth attempt. So to me, I'm thinking, okay, we get up there again, it's game over. We get up into that range again, right? I'm super confident in us breaking out, especially heading into market open when we have an influx of volume coming in just based off of the opening bell, right? So as you guys can see here, we held above that level perfectly at that 55 level. It was a beautiful retest. We have nice lower wicks here, and then we have a candle closure back above the top of that zone here at that 58. That's about where we entered anyways. And you guys can see here, we have a really beautiful, nice 12% right up to profit target, and I believe it goes higher, but I was out majority of my position here at this 12% profit target. I don't want to get too greedy, especially seeing, if we see this upper wick or shooting star or reverse hammer, however you want to say it, especially with the candle closure below. Obviously, this next candle broke out, but real time, when you're recognizing a reverse hammer at your profit target, a lot of times you're expecting that continuation back to the downside. Obviously, we get that nice, beautiful breakout to the upside. Profit target was met, and basically condition was met up there at that 72 to 75. Objective was hit, and you're really just looking for a sell-off now at this point, to be honest with you, right? A lot of times people try to do a little bit too much, right? When you hit profit target and you're hitting that daily resistance, right, you have to understand that you don't have to hit every single retest, right? You don't have to play every single dip. A lot of times hit the move, be done, and just walk away for the day. Did the opportunity present itself? It obviously did, right? You can, retrade this retest here, or if you like the way that this is setting back up into this zone, you can play that retest back into that zone. I don't know if it bounced or not, but a lot of times, guys, it just bleeds for the rest of the day once that objective is met, right? So that is one thing you have to focus on when you're trading these small caps, is not over trading these tickers, right? Because a lot of times they just pop, they hit their objective, and then they just sell off. All right, so that was the first trade. We hit a nice $488. It was around 10% cumulative with all the scale outs and things like that. I trade with around $5,000 typically, unless I'm going, unless I'm like extremely, extremely confident, or unless I am not confident, then I'll trade with way less size, which I did the following day. But yeah, so $488, you guys can see here, 624 to 624, plus 488 on our AGFY. Okay, next trade here. Let's go down. Next trade was RGS. This was the following day. So this trade, I wish I would have entered with much more size, because it was honestly such a good trade, but I'll explain to you why I did not enter with size. But let's pull up the Discord here and let's go over exactly what I sent to my community. 8:20, this is 10 minutes before market open. 13:20 to 12:90 RGS. I said don't play too heavy as it's already up huge. RGS only has 1 million float and had a ton of volume in the pre-market, which to me was thinking this thing is going to run hard. And I said that's why it's running hard. LRHC. That's another ticker that was running pretty hard in the pre-market. That was the second leading gapper. But I said it looks okay because there's 8 million float, right? So I'd much rather play a pre-market gapper that has a similar percent gap, a similar volume, but one is 1 million float and the other is 8 million float, I'm much more confident in trading the RGS based off of the float. So the move won't last much longer, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so that's what I said to the team. I said 1320 to 1290. As you guys can see here, we'll go back here and what I was looking for. I sent that around 10 minutes prior to market open. So let's go exactly to where I sent it, right here. So the reason I was hesitant here, guys, and the reason that I didn't trade with large size is because for me, I've been burned so many times. You know, I've been doing this for 4 years, and I understand when to go heavy and when not to go heavy. And risk management, I never used to care about it as much as I do now. It's so important, right? It's everything. It's everything in trading. So when we're looking to take a trade that is already up, 200 some percent, I'm a little more cautious trading right into the open, right? Because a lot of times when you see something that's up 200 some percent already in the pre-market, you just see basically just a sell-off right in the market open. You may see a pop real quick, really, really fast. People jump in, they think we're breaking out over pre-market high, and then you just get sucked down, all the way down, and you basically retrace that entire move the next day, or sometimes even that day, right? So for me, I was just less confident. I wish I would have sized in more, but I'm not going to just change it just based off of, a random ticker. I'm just going to stick to my guts and trade with a lighter size. But what I was looking for here, guys, is again, all based off the daily time frame. That's typically all I look at when I'm finding these key levels here. And it's very, very obvious, right? We're just playing off of this key level here and this key level here, and then this kind of chop here, resistance based there, right, at this key level. So this 1320 to 1290 level, that range, I really like to play ranges because I'm not having an exact level, but that way we can dip into that range, right, get a nice confirmation candle, and then go long for our move back up. First profit target is very, very obvious and very, very clear. There's nothing really in our way from bouncing from here straight back up to this 1525, right? There's no other levels of resistance. Everything to me is just from here to here, right? And that's where we're looking to sell, right? Stop cutting yourself short on your profit. So, right, hit this level, target up here, 15 some percent money, right? Boom, 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 out. Now, if you see continuation, again, when you break out over 15, is there really anything in the way from going from 15 to 18? And there's really, really not, right? Again, it's the exact same situation, right? There's really nothing in the way from going straight from this 1524, potential break, retest, targeting back up even higher, right? That's ideally what we want to look for and target that $18. But for me, guys, again, when I'm looking to trade these small caps, I'm looking to be done with like 10 to 20 minutes into market open, right? I want to get small caps out of my mind. I want to get futures out of my mind, and I want to go fully focused on trading our options, right? And trading the tech market and things like that. So let's go back to the intraday time frame as we just found those levels. And all I'm looking for, and you guys can see here, right? The confirmation that we found on the daily time frame, all that tells us right here is exactly what I want to see, right? We have a nice breakout, we have a nice chop and consolidation on our key levels, right? That to me is a great example of us respecting these levels, right? Accumulating and then breaking out to the next target. Where do you guys see that next target go right up to? Right back up to that 1525 that we were just talking about on the daily time frame, right? So daily time frame gives you everything you need to know. Pre-market just gives you that confirmation. So these are the levels that we found on the daily, right? So what I'm ideally looking for is a retest back into this range, confirmation, and a run back up to 15, right? Price comes down, right? Hits this level extremely quick, right? And it gives you that bounce. If you caught that, I don't hate it. I'm not mad about it. Like it's okay if you caught that. Ideally, what we want to look for is a little bit more confirmation, especially the reason why we're entering, or especially the reason why we're going in lighter is because I'm nervous of a massive sell-off based off of that 200% move, right? So I want to have a little bit more confirmation and just kind of stabbing at a level before we look to enter. And this is what we want to see here, right? We want to see a break into this zone, right? A sweep back below this 1320, respecting this 1290, right? A nice hammer candle, a closure back above level, target instantly straight up here to 1524, okay? That's what I want to look for, and that's what you guys can see here. Instantly halted straight up to that 1524 based off of that bounce into that zone, right? So perfect entry, perfect level, perfect price target, okay? Now, we're out of our position here, right? I think I sold around like 12 to 15%, fully out of my position. Looking back, I wish I would have held some of my position because I understood that, hey, man, if we break out over this, we're going straight to 18 plus. Now, what I don't like is when things get halted. I don't personally like playing after a halt, and it's maybe that I don't know how to play after a halt because I'm just afraid of a halt enter just dump on me. But this made sense, right? A nice lower wick below, candle closure back above 1524, and then looking to go long, targeting back at that 1830, 1840. Again, I wish I would have played that, but it is what it is. I'm not mad about it. But as you guys can see here, right, we have a beautiful bounce right off of pre-market high, right? Right off of pre-market high here, you have that nice break, retest, nice candle closure, nice confirmation back above. You can go long like here at this like 1630 and target back up to these highs, right? So this trade gave you so much opportunity 20 minutes into market open, right? And that's what we want to look for. We want to look for the opportunities when volume is at its highest and the attention is on these positions and on these stocks, right? Stop trying to trade shit that is just bleeding all day and there's no volume, right? The spread's too large. You're not going to get a good fill, and you're just not going to get the momentum and the volume that you want, right? So trade things when they're in play, please. It will save you a lot of money. I wish I would have really focused on that a lot sooner. But yeah, profit target was met. For me, again, I said this prior, when profit target is met and is hit, to me, the objective is done, right? The stock is done. A lot of times you can catch a retest, but for me, I'm checked out. I moved on, hit his objective. I'm not really interested in playing a dip. Does the dip trades work? For sure, right? It does come back down right to that 1524, and I was considering taking it. As you guys can see here, I was going to take it, looking to add 1524 for a move to high of day and 18, right? But we missed it, so I'm not looking to play the second attempt, right? So I was looking for this move to come down, hit this 1524 here before objective was met. Okay, that's important, right? I want to try to catch the retest before we come up and we hit that resistance, right? Because when we come up and hit this resistance, again, to me, buyers may not be buyers anymore because we've just came into a ton of selling and we came into a very key level on the daily time frame, especially based off of this reaction as we approach that level. So to me, I'm not really interested in playing the second retest. I wanted to see this breakout retest, then go long. Had I had focused more on this pre-market high instead of just focusing on this 1524 daily level and just played this range here, right? That would have been money and I would have been confident. I would have taken that. Just didn't really see it at the time, or I just, I already made the money for the day or made the money for that trade and I was just kind of walking away from it. But here's a great example, right? A beautiful hammer off of that level, right? Ideally, you want to target back up to this high, but you can play right off of this level here, which was this previous high, right? So you can play up to that 1647, up to that 1840, and then up to that high of day. You can see here, that's where we are rejecting. And then third attempt, again, I never play third attempts. A lot of times you see breakouts below third attempt. So it doesn't even really matter what happens after that. All right. Okay, moving on, guys. Hopefully you guys are still with me. But yeah, I'm trying to explain as much as I can. So for that day, it wasn't the best day because, again, what did I say? Again, I do exactly and I say exactly what I give my team, right? I told you guys and I said to them, I'm not playing very heavy because it's already up huge, right? And you guys can see that in the P&L. Am I happy with it? Not really, right? It's $120, right? It was a 10% move on $1,000 or 12% move on $1,000, right? But to me, risk management is so important that had that have dropped 20% on me, right, I would have been okay with holding a $200 loss or whatever, right? That's just how I process things, and it's how I handle riskier trades, just entering with less size. So the first day, right, I may have added a little bit more to the profits here on that 541. Originally we had like 488. I must have taken that before runners hit profit target. So final final profit on 624 was 541. Second day was 625. That was $120. That was the trade we just went over. And today was 455. And then futures today was like 140. But today was 455. So let's go over that trade. Let's pull it up. Alrighty, so the pre-market plan, or what I told the team, was WENA is the highest gapper, but I'm not too interested. To me, it's just a dead cat bounce that will get smacked into open. Very, very important to recognize this and pay attention to. A dead cat bounce that'll bounce heavy and get smacked into open. Just want you to guys pay attention to that, right? We can see $5 here in the pre-market, but risk to reward just isn't there for me. I'm going to trade this with light size. Profit target is $4.90 to $5. Added $500 at $4.15. Guys, this is so important, again, to seriously focus on risk management. My usual profit target, my usual entry size is $5,000. As you guys can see, right, with the gains, right? 10% moves produces around a $500 win. Right, so $5,000 entry sizes, and I only entered this trade with $500, right? That should tell you how risky the trade is, and the reason I only enter with $500 is because I'm willing to risk 10%, but if we hit a 20% move, I'm making $100, and I don't care who you are, hitting a 10% move, a $100 gain on a trade is good money to me, right? I'm not a millionaire, I'm comfortable with making $400, $500, $600 a day, $700 a day, right? And then when you add in futures and options, right, I'm looking for, close to $1,000 a day, but we add up, right? That shit adds up. $100 here and there adds up, right? Whereas I would only take a $50 loss on this trade, right? Does that make sense? Then I said understand risk management, right? So let's go to the trade. Let's go to it, and I will show you guys what I was looking for. WENA. All right, let's go to it. So what I was looking at here on WENA was a very similar situation, but a lot riskier because we have not truly broken out yet, right? So what I was trying to do is I was trying to preemptively assume that we were going to break out. When you are entering with no confirmation of a breakout or no true reason to enter other than you just think price is going to go, you either don't enter or you enter with 10% size. And that's exactly what we did. We entered with $500, normal size is $5,000, and I was willing to risk this breakout because my expectation was price to hit $5. And I said that with the team, and I said that today. Right? Expectation is for the move to hit $5, and I'll explain to you guys why I was expecting for it to move to $5. Right? So we entered here around 425, right? I just played this preemptively, tried to play this breakout. Obviously, it did not break out. It just rejected this trend, came back down, and I sold, right? I obviously probably messed up because I sold for 5% loss, but what I really should have been paying attention to was giving it a little bit more room. But I was really just sticking to this right here, right? Just based off of this low. And I was hoping for a bounce off of that. We didn't see it, so I just closed with a candle closure below that 395 level. Obviously, right, it eventually traded sideways, and then moved up, right? But whatever, right? I don't really care. I lost $25 or something like that. On the trade, and we're going to look for the trade to properly set up for our full-size trade. I just wanted to go over that trade. It really wasn't that important, but I wanted to go over it because I want you guys to understand the importance of, hey, if this is risky, or hey, if I want to try this trade, go extremely light, right? And if it hits, great, you made lunch money. If it doesn't hit, okay, you lost $25. You know what I mean? Like that's how I feel about things. But I'll quit yapping about that, and we will go over the trade. Number one reason that we took the trade, again, 172% gap up, right? That's huge. That's 120% higher than the previous next gap up. And the volume, look at the volume, right? That's almost 20 million pre-market volume more than the next one down. Right, and again, the reason that, again, we didn't trade this OPTX was just based off of the volume. I like to pick one and focus on one, right? That's, again, very, very important. So we are looking at the position around this time right here, right? And you guys will ask, well, how did you know that price wanted to gravitate to $5, right? How did you know that? Well, again, we're going to go over what I said to the team. Highest gapper, but I'm not too interested yet. To me, it's just a dead cat bounce that will get smacked into open, right? And I'll explain to you why I thought that. This was going over the, the trade, $500, lost 5% and so on. But here I said WENA 440 with a little more size. Profit target is $5 to $4.90, right? How did I find $5 to $4.90? Just based off of previous day here on the 1 minute time frame, right? My number one favorite profit target strategy and where I like to target is targeting gap fills, right? For gap fills, there's an objective to be met, right? And a lot of times, once you see momentum and volume into a ticker, you can almost tell that it's like inching itself up to fill this gap here. Right? This gap was created by, whether it was a bad news or earnings or whatever it was created by, this gap was created from here at 270 all the way up to 490, right? So my objective for the day is to say, okay, this thing is grinding very, very hard. It has a ton of volume. It has a decently low float. I'm confident in this targeting and hitting that full objective of $5, right? So that is my profit target. Now, if I'm looking to trade this for real with real size, I need to wait for a confirmation of it breaking out and look to target around that level, right? So what I ideally want to look for based off of our break and retest strategy that we like to play off of is a breakout over this pre-market high, coming back up to 490, completing this gap and being done. Out for the day, done for the trade, hit my 10% and be done, right? So if we can play a break and a retest back over this level, boom, boom, and target up here, right? I'm looking for, a solid 13%, right? Again, I like to look for 10% trades, but, we're good with that, right? So ideally, right, go long on confirmation here, target back up into this range, stop below this low, right? 1.4 risk to reward. I'm okay with that, right? 1.4 is not the greatest. I ideally want to look for a 2-to-1, but I have a decently high win rate, so 1.4 is perfect for me. Anything above a 1 is okay with me, right? So, and the reason is I just want to be able to play this low at this 395, 396 here, just in case we do, we break out over that, right? There's a good chance that we're just going to come magnet dap back down to another key level here, like this 350, 360, or potentially this like 330, right? So let's play this thing out, see what it does, right? Does its thing. No entry yet. There's no confirmation of an entry. We need to see a breakout over that pre-market high, retest of that pre-market high, and then boom, we target back up. So boom, here we go, right? Entry is based off of this next candle. We have our breakout. We have our condition is met with a breakout, a retest, a nice hammer candle, a sweep below this. That wasn't anything crazy, but a nice little dip below this pre-market high. Reclose back above, creating this nice lower wick. Candle closure above. I'm entering here at 440. Again, as you can see, WENA 440, right? Entering here at 440, targeting our 390 to $5 objective, our gap fill on the 1 minute time frame. Right, so we just kind of play this thing out. Again, as long as we hold, ideally we hold above 430, I'm confident in this trade. There's no reason to sell. There's no reason to panic, right? We're just going to sit and wait, right? Ideally, just sit and wait, and eventually we come up and we do hit it. We come close to this. A lot of times people ask me, do you just sit and wait for the full price target? A lot of times I won't. If we come close, I'm not going to be too greedy, right? This 440, I'm not going to be greedy and miss, 10% win because I would needed an extra 2%. In this specific situation, I was just so confident in that gap being filled that I did hold the position for this full price target, right? And as you can see here, we just kind of just chop. We hit this level and boom, we come up and we hit it right at market open, right? So we do come up, we hit the objective, the gap fill is met, and then I'm done, right? Done for the day in within, well, I guess we took the trade here at 8, done within 32 minutes, right? That's all we look for, right? Break, retest, confirmation, retest, target an objective or target a key level. That's why I love gap fill so much, because it's just like a fixed level that, okay, this is where we're most likely going to target to. Once we hit that, I'm done, right? I'm not going to be greedy. I understand that this is where we're targeting. This is where we're going to magnet to, and that's where I like to look for. And then I'm pretty sure the rest of the day just sells off. It may bounce, but pretty much just sells off, guys. And that's literally the importance of taking profits at a key level. You know, a lot of people could say, oh my God, we're breaking out, you know, we're going to run another 30%, we're going to target even higher, right? We're looking so good. But why was this thing running, right? To my knowledge, we were just running because we had this massive just dead cat bounce down here based off of this massive rejection, and it's just correcting itself, coming back up to this level, right? So for me, right, once we hit this resistance or hit this key level, it's like, well, we don't really have any backing or reason why we're running. We just came back up into the bottom of this zone, and we're probably just going to sell back off and come back down to this like $2, or it'll correct itself and continue to run. But to me, we're traders, right? We're looking to get in, looking to hit the move and get out, right? Small chunk of the move and get out and be done for the day, right? So yeah, I don't know what it does for the rest of the day. It may bounce. I don't care, right? I'm already off trading options or trading something else for the day. I don't care, right? So we're going to go back to here. Beautiful day, 455 on the day. Just one and done. And yeah, guys, that's it. So 3 trades this week. All of them were winners. All of them were around 10%. I will make a video on my futures and options trades as well. I've had a very solid week this week. A lot of winners, some small losers, but pretty solid week so far. I'm out for tomorrow. Tomorrow is my birthday, and then Friday I will come back and maybe trade small caps, but mainly we'll just stick to trading futures. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you guys want to get in on these trades every single day, I mean, we do this every single day. You guys can see here, 1 trade, done, right? I sent everything to the team. I walk them through it. If you guys want in, leave a comment below or click the link in the description, and it will send you to the community, and you guys can join and be a part of the team. Appreciate you guys watching. I will see you guys next week, and we'll go over this exact same thing, but for a new set of trades. Appreciate you guys' time, and I will see you later.